Welcome. This is 95.1 KNVC, Carson City, Mendon, Gardnerville, your community radio station. And it's time right now for the Carson Rural Communities Update. And this is your host, CJ Gilder, along with co-host Laura Templeton.
Hi there.
How are you, dearie?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Thank you for asking. Hey, we have a guest in the house today. Her name is Kelsey Penrose, and Kelsey is the founder and director of Hollow Mountain Workshops, which is a 501c3 nonprofit. And Kelsey is also the co-editor for Carson Now and an investigative freelance journalist. And Kelsey is also an English professor at Western Nevada College.
Whoa.
Yes. And Hollow Mountain is, again, a 501c3 nonprofit in the greater Carson City area, operating on the principles that learning must be hands-on, which I love, social, and, meaningful. So, Kelsey, what made you bring in the Hollow Mountain workshops?
Yeah, and thank you guys so much for being here. I'm always happy to talk about it. And as you read, I do wear many hats. And so I just started teaching at WNC earlier this year. I started teaching in the fall, and I was pretty surprised by, number one, the demographic change at WNC. From when I went there, it's predominantly young people, and especially students who are still in high school now, either through Jumpstart or dual enrollment, or the ones who have just graduated. And I was noticing that they were really, really struggling in not just my classroom, but in higher education in general. And I started doing a lot of research, and I found that not only there's a lot of different issues when it comes to education, but a lot of it really has to do with screen time and education and, and isolation. And the one really big sticking point that kind of changed everything for me, that made me start building this project, was I saw a statistic that since 2012, the number of young people who have started describing their lives as being not useful has been increasing year over year over time. And that really, really impacted me because it's just kind of a heartbreaking statistic, that term of your life is not useful. And so I really started brainstorming on, well, what does useful mean? It means that we feel like we matter, and that we feel like we would be missed if we were gone. And I think that community building is something that a lot of young people are wanting to have more of, but they're not able to in kind of this digital facing world that we all live in right now.
Right.
And so the idea of this pilot program was first to kind of cast like a wide net on what people are looking for. So we have workshops ranging from 2 years old to 18. And then our forward thinking plan is to try to start community building through these hands-on, really interactive workshops that are taught by local experts and local professionals who will then become mentors for our students going forward.
Well, that sounds pretty cool. Hey, folks, if you're just coming onto the radio station on 95.1 KNVC, we have Kelsey Penrose here with the Hollow Mountain Workshops, which is a 501c nonprofit. And with that being said, I have some questions because, Kelsey, you and I talked on the telephone, and you had mentioned about color theory. And what does that entail?
Well, so every Monday we have Kit Club, which is our toddler workshops, and they're focused on creative and STEM, and a lot of playing. It's just a lot of playing and a lot of being really messy. And so our workshop,
Messy is good.
You have to be messy. That's hands-on. And if you're doing hands-on with toddlers, it has to be messy. So on Monday we have kind of like our art and STEM, and then on Saturday we have our gardening. So you have like paint on Monday and then dirt on Saturday. And so no toddler should be coming to us and leaving with clean clothes. That's kind of the aspect. But so on Monday, we had a really fun one where we taught color theory to toddlers, which is a lot of, we had cool light boards that had different scarves and magnetiles. My partner on that is, her name is Amber Phillips, and she's the owner of Future Roots, which is a daycare here in Carson. It's an in-home daycare, and she does a lot of amazing things with art for little kids, and it's like on a farm. It's amazing. And so she's kind of the brains behind all of the toddler stuff, but they were able to use light and flashlights and magnetiles and scarves to kind of like mix colors. And then we had physical paint that then they could, smash their hands
Like
around it.
finger
I mean, we gave them brushes, but it always inevitably turns into finger painting in some way. But it's all washable and non-toxic. So I think Amber's daughter ended up with paint all over her face at one point. But that's
okay.
it's color theory.
So how long has Hollow Mountain Workshops been around?
Oh, not long at all. We are in our third week. We're in the middle of our third week of our pilot program, which runs until the end of May. And then we are going to be taking a small break of just a mental break, and also just like a data analysis break to really see what has been working, what people are really interested in. We only operate right now in the evenings and on Saturday mornings, afternoons, so that working families can access it. That was a portion of feedback we were getting, but we've been getting a lot of feedback from the homeschool community that they want access too. And so we're going to try and see how we can kind of incorporate daytime curriculum moving forward. But
the weekends and evenings seems like a working program for the parents who work. So yeah, I could see that actually working out well for the kids. And so what other programs have you started doing?
Oh man. Let's see. Typically we have at least one a day for a different age group. And so, for example, tonight we have our first game design that's for ages 10 and up, which is going to be going over kind of like the creative aspect of game design. But later in the month, we are going to have some like 3D digital rendering, more techie stuff. But then also tonight we have Anatomy for Curious Kids, which is a younger kid one. And then we have So You Want to Start a Band, which is kind of like getting into the music scene for young people. And then we have things like zine making. On Saturday, our most popular workshop by far so far, which hasn't even started yet, is our apocalypse survival training workshop. Oh, wow. And so that one's really fun. It's being taught by my friend Michelle, who's a paramedic who was recently just voted as Carson City's favorite paramedic. Carson Now.
Congratulations.
Very exciting. Yes. And so she's going to be walking through, it's basically dressed up first aid with like a fun theme, which is zombies. And then we have Babysitting 101, which is taught by Kendra Tuttle, who also was just recently got an award, I believe, as Educator of the Year. She teaches at both Carson High School. She's the director or the CTE program lead for their early childhood education. So she's teaching a Babysitting 101 with some of her students, which is going to be really, really fun. And we've got a whole smorgasbord.
So where do they meet again?
Here on campus at the BAC. So
yes, Brewery Arts Center, for those who don't know.
Sorry, yes. Sorry, at the Brewery Arts Center. The BAC has been very, very gracious to us. They're allowing us to kind of host our pilot program here for free during this month. And so we have a studio here that we've been decorating and hosting everything out of. And then we're also kind of moving into the community a little bit. So I think next week we have an evening behind the scenes tour with the mayor going into City Hall. And then we've got a sheriff's office one.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that behind the scenes. That sounds exciting. Is that like, and that's in the evenings so that working families
absolutely
can,
yeah.
part of that.
So next week, I think it's next week. I think both of them are next week. It's Mayor Lori Bagwell is going to be taking kids around City Hall, showing them what it looks like, what you do as mayor, because they do these things fairly often, but it's usually for, daytime homeschooling groups, things like that. And then Sheriff Furlong is going to be taking everybody on a tour of the sheriff's office later
on May 19th, I think.
Oh, see, I'm glad that you prepared for this.
Well, it's just that, it's happened to be right here. And the behind the scenes will be on May 21st, Thursday, May 21st. And
so the City Hall, City Hall must be on the 19th and then the other one's on the 21st.
So how does I mean, maybe I'm a working family and I just heard about this right here on KNVC. How would I then be part of that workshop?
Yeah, so it's called hollowmountainworkshops.org is our website. Typically, our cost per workshop is $40. We also recently got a very generous $1,000 donation from the Hop and May Adams Foundation. So
nice.
in addition to our scholarship fund, we're also able to offer 50% off tickets for every workshop. And then on top of it, if any family for any reason feels that they can't afford the full cost, we have a scholarship fund available for anybody who wants to access our workshops but is having a hard time. That's why I thought it was really important to start as a 501c3 from the very beginning, because it's not about making money. I certainly am not making any money off of this. I'm investing a decent amount of my own money into this, but it's important. It's for the community. And I have children, and my children are going to be growing up in this society. And I want to make sure that our society as a whole is one that values art and empathy and communication and connection. And if I want to have my kids raised that way, then I need to do what I can to make the community the one that I want my children raised in.
That's awesome. Yep. Could I ask another question?
Sure.
And I apologize if it was asked before, but is there like the name Hollow Mountain? That's an intriguing name. Is there a story behind that?
So my one of my best friends, who's also she's a trained therapist, and she leads our social emotional wellness courses. She leads one of them. We have another therapist for another one as well. But she has always been very supportive of my schemes and my different project ideas. And so we've always kind of floated the idea of using Hollow Mountain as a term that we kind of came up with years ago brainstorming. And it really fits so well for this project because, number one, we're, battle-born, you're bred and raised Nevadans. And with the Comstock being such an important part of Nevada's history, it's about mining. But at the same time, it's my own kind of personal philosophy that a lot of the times people think that kids are like empty cups or empty vessels that need to be filled via education. But it's my belief that kids are human beings that already have whatever they need inside of them to become wonderful learners. And they're born curious, and they're born with a lot of insights that I think they lose over time. And so it's less about filling kids with education. It's more about digging out the love of learning from what's already in them. And so it's kind of like esoteric and a little, out there, but it's the basis of what our foundation is on, is that kids already have everything they need to become creative beings. You just have to help them kind of dig it out of themselves. Yeah,
exactly.
Very cool.
So do you have any special events coming up besides the ones that we just talked about? Any kind of fundraising events or anything like that?
We haven't had any fundraising events just because this week, yesterday was my very last class teaching for the semester at WNC. So I don't know why I did this to myself to kind of plan it this way, but I wanted to have it before the summer break to really get a better idea of what people would access year round, because during summer, parents are always kind of looking for more things to get the kids out of the house. But at some point, I would love to have a fundraiser, but we do have some things in the works. We just got another very, very generous donation that I'm going to try to use to build a community garden, and I've been discussing it with a new business that is coming to Carson very soon. That I don't want to.
Don't want to steal their thunder, but
I don't want to say it yet, just because they're very interested in it, obviously, because it's a cool free community garden. But I want to make sure that I get an okay from everybody first. But the whole point of building community isn't to have it insular, right? We want to be in the community. We want to take them to the sheriff's office and city hall, and we want to take them to different businesses so that they can learn how our community functions, and that people are kind and generous and willing to help, which is what I have found as a journalist over the past decade. And it's what I'm finding more and more as somebody who's working with kids, that people want to help. You just have to ask them. And I have no shame about asking people to lend their time to helping us out.
It seems like this has been a very collaborative project, right from the beginning.
Yeah.
That's tied into a lot of different aspects of the community.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Yeah. I am definitely not an expert in every subject. I wouldn't even say I'm an expert in the few subjects that I feel confident in, but what I am good at is making friends. And so I have leaned heavily on all of my friends so far that, when I need a paramedic to teach a zombie apocalypse course, I call up Michelle. And when I need somebody to teach an art therapy class, I call up Lacey and I say, hey, can you lend your time to us? And everybody has just been absolutely fabulous in agreeing to do it.
That is really cool. But I have another question. What are the, I guess I would say, what are the courses that teenagers can do?
So I really wanted to focus a lot on teenagers. They so far have been kind of the hardest group of us of being able to get a hold of them, but I'm still plugging away. So I'm pulling up my calendar right now on hollowmountainworkshops.org so that I can tell you exactly. Let's see, we've got zine and collage making. We just did our first creative writing. Earlier this month, we had a tarot for beginners class that we had people asking us to do. So I found a fabulous gal who taught the tarot class, and she's also possibly going to be doing like an astrology class at some point, just because all teenagers love, fortune telling in some fashion. And then, we've got small business marketing for teens. Like I said, we have game design. Not this Saturday, but next Saturday, we have car ownership 101 for teens. So
that's awesome.
Super important. It's really funny. I've had a lot of grown-ups say, can I take that? I don't know how to check my oil.
I was actually kind of interested in the zombie apocalypse.
I know. I'm luckily I have a stepson who fits the demographic. So I will also be going to the zombie apocalypse training because I want to learn it too.
So if I found a child, I could just sort of.
Oh yeah. It's
tap a grandchild or something.
Exactly. And for all of our workshops, I mean, we want kids to be able to kind of like hang out with each other, but families are always allowed to hang around for the most part. I think they're like, take my kid and I'm going to go and take a breather. But our toddler workshops, obviously parents have to stay because that, like I said, there's a lot of dirt, there's a lot of paint. We can't be held responsible for them.
I guess they would leave happy, right?
They would
painting and stuff.
The kids? I mean, all of the parents who have come so far, they're on the same level as us. They get it. So it's like at one point I didn't think it through, but we did a strawberry workshop. So the kids got to kind of like plant or pot up strawberries to take home to plant at their house. And then I brought a bowl of strawberries so they could eat the strawberries. And so then I looked around at one point and the kids had a handful of strawberries and a handful of dirt. And they were just kind of eating. And I was like, I don't know if I really thought this through, but all of the parents were like, no, we're coming to a toddler gardening class. Like we understand they're going to be covered in dirt when we leave. So the people who've kind of been attracted to the program, I think are on the same level that we all want our kids off screens. And when we want our kids off screens, that means they're going to get messy. And that's what we want. That's what childhood is, right? It's supposed to be messy.
Looking at what I call the new idiot box.
The new
Instead of the TV, it's now it's not even the computer.
It's the iPhone.
100%. Yeah, exactly. Because my son, my stepson, he's amazing and he's a huge nerd and he loves video games and all that stuff. And I have no problems with it. He's coding and making cool stuff. But when it comes to a phone, I'm just like, nope, we are locking that thing down because it's completely different. And he doesn't understand really yet, but it's addiction. It's a neurological addiction. Yes. It's the same thing as if you're giving drugs to not just a child, but to us every day. We're being blasted in the face with dopamine constantly every time we use our phones. And you can't expect a 13-year-old or God forbid an 8-year-old to be able to handle drugs appropriately when they're getting addicted to it. And it's the exact same thing with phones. And
with phones, it's kind of like I nicknamed it the umbilical cord. Because you're attached to it 100%. Constantly.
And I am too. We all are, right? I'm not some hippie living out on the moon without devices. But if I forget my phone at home, I feel like I've lost my leg, right? Yes. And I've been really trying to kind of detach at the same time, reading all these, research studies and neurological studies that say we can't do it.
I
Right.
just had this weird idea that might make a fun workshop for the young kids.
Yeah.
Radio.
How to read a map.
Oh, 100%.
you know,
Yeah.
and like a hiking
absolutely.
map or an
Yes.
off-road. Yeah, because
We're kind of like so Michelle, who's doing our apocalypse workshop, she had been talking about because we both grew up in Carson, but when she went to Fremont Elementary School back in the day, she remembers very clearly being in 5th grade and they had survivalist workshops where
wow.
people came in and they took the kids out into the sagebrush, one during the winter and one during the warmer months, and they had to like physically dig like a snow tunnel, right? And they had to like actually like dig a hole to get water out of it. And so she is like, we should do this. Like we should have a camp that we get, like people can bring their kids and we can bring in guest speakers and we can do all this stuff. And I'm like, I would love to do that. I do not want to be a camp counselor. I've already done that in my youth.
No,
And she was like, no, I will do it. And I was like, oh my God, if somebody else wants to do it.
Can you imagine?
Yes.
That would be another fun one to attend as an adult too.
Oh my God, 100%. I don't know how to dig a snow tunnel. I would love to do that.
Yeah.
Like, that sounds
Fairly important if
amazing.
you plan on skiing or
Oh, yeah.
going in the back country.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
might need that igloo.
Well, and I have been kind of kicking around the idea. I want to keep kids separate from grownups just because I think kids deserve to have their own space and their own, silliness. But at the same time, I have been kind of kicking around the idea of extending it up to like 21 for some cases, because those kids to me are still kids, right? I teach that demographic and they're not allowed to kind of engage really in adult society, but somehow they're not considered teenagers anymore. And so those are the ones who are really getting into analog, right? Those are the ones who are bringing back film photography and wanting to do all the cool stuff.
And I was telling you, one of the shows here on KNVC on Wednesday nights, or it is Downtown with Dino, and he is a Carson High School student, and he gets his friends, and they have a blast, and he comes up with a different theme. He's really into the retro music.
Yes.
So, I could tell even just from that it's
a resurgence. It's amazing. And it's not just like a nostalgia for, like vinyl has been around forever. And it's like, when I was in college, we were all hipsters and we loved vinyl and poetry and all that stuff. But it's different now. They're recognizing that there's a loss by only engaging in a digital world. And they need to have connection, and having connection means being in the physical world. But what are you supposed to do? Just stand around? Like, no, you get hobbies.
Right.
And how do you learn hobbies? You learn them by doing them and being hands-on. And then you find other people to teach you how to do stuff. Like I took so many photography classes in high school. My senior project was on photography. And I don't think today I could operate a film camera but I'm definitely going to be going to the new film shop and having him teach me how to do it because I want to learn how to do it.
That'd be cool.
That is cool. Yeah.
And I did ask him if he would teach some kids at my workshops, and he was very amenable after, of course, he gets established.
Well, I'm thinking out loud right now. Here we are at a radio station. Wouldn't some of the kids love to get introduced to working with radio?
100%. Yeah.
Yes.
Control board.
Yeah.
All the things that it entails to bring the radio station to the general public.
Absolutely.
I think that would be awesome.
100%. No, all kids love hearing their voice on the radio, and they love seeing their picture in the paper.
Yeah.
And it's like, obviously from my Carson Now perspective, the Nevada Appeal is like our competition, but I love the Nevada Appeal because we need to have newspapers. We need to have physical newspapers in every town. And this generation, there's a resurgence in like interest in newspaper and magazine. It's amazing.
Zines.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so I'm really excited about our zine workshops. I want to make zines also because it's very punk rock, and it's like this generation, this is the age group you're supposed to be a little punk rock and a little alternative and like fighting back against the systems. And
good job.
They don't have that yet. And so we want to give them a safe space that is their own, that they can kind of explore these different ideas and explore these different crafts and, have a really fun time doing it and maybe make some really cool friends with each other.
That's great.
Fantastic. So, hollowmountainworkshops.org.
That is correct.
Is there a telephone number? Or would you
It's
prefer
me.
the website?
It's just me. I would prefer the website.
Okay. Yeah, it's a lot
For
easier.
now. But I did have a couple of 12-year-old girls in my small business for kids, and they want to start a babysitting service, and they were obsessed with the idea of getting a landline. So I was walking through with them on we were looking up how much does a landline cost? How do you set it up? And I'm like, man, I want a landline. We need to have if we're going to be analog, I need to have a landline. So, I mean, who's to say? Maybe soon we'll have a landline set up somewhere.
That is awesome. Well, Kelsey, thank you so much for coming to tell us about Hollow Mountain Workshops.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
I could see a lot of fun things happening in that group. So thank you again. And so I'm going to kind of move over here to Laura, and she's going to read some of our PSAs.
Yeah.
And we've got a few. So
We've got a few. So we'll see what we get to, and we'll start out with the summer tech camp. This is very much in the spirit of our show.
Heck yeah.
Enrollment is now open for computer course, Every Home, a Classroom. Summer Tech Camp for kids 9 to 15. It's a community win-win as tech campers will learn about computers, e-cycling, yay, repair, yay again, security, and best practices with a hands-on test, setup, and take home of their own Microsoft Windows Pro computer system with MS Office Suite. So that's pretty cool.
I'll say my stepson did that camp, and he still says years later, everything he learned about computers, he learned during that camp.
That's
so
great.
Shout out to Tech Camp.
Yeah.
Yes,
So there's
definitely.
going to be 3 in June, July, and August. They'll meet new friends. They'll play games, win awards, enjoy snacks and fun. So for registration and more detail, call Computer Corps at 775-883-2323. Volunteers and team leaders are also needed. So there you go.
Wow.
All right.
Okay.
Now, next one up is Find a Career to Remember at the 2nd Annual Memorial Career Fair. That's
cool.
Wednesday, May 27th, 11 to 2 p.m. at Western Nevada College.
There
Yay,
you
shout out to them. 36 employers will be representing 8 major industries. They'll be on hand for on-spot interviews. Bring plenty of resumes and dress for success. Yes.
Very good.
So then, of course, we have the Hollow Mountain Workshop that's taking place in Carson City.
Yay.
We've heard about this. They're doing an after-hours tour of the Carson City Sheriff's Office on May 19th, and then a behind-the-scenes of City Hall led by Mayor Bagwell, yes, on the 21st. So you can view the current workshops and register for events at the hollowmountainworkshops.org website.
Right.
Yay. Now we're moving into some big time here with the Carson City Chamber annual meeting that will be an all-star event at Governor's Field on Wednesday, May 13th. Oh, sorry. Well, on to the next one.
I'm sure it was very fun.
I'm sure it was great. We did that one. So now, guess what? It's the Rotary Club of Carson City's Capital City Brewfest time, May 30th from 2 to 7 p.m. in downtown Carson City. Advance tickets are now available, and to find out more, go to capitalcitybrewfest.com.
Very good.
Right, and then we have Carson City seeks input on the 2026 language access plan. Carson City is inviting residents to provide input on the city's draft language access plan and to participate in a community survey on language access services. This is intended to ensure that all residents, including those with limited English proficiency, have meaningful access to city programs, services, and information. The plan outlines current language resources and identifies opportunities to improve communication with residents in their preferred language. Community members are encouraged to review the draft plan and share feedback, and will help guide the city's language access approach. In addition, the city is conducting a survey to better understand how residents access services and what language barriers they face. The plan and surveys are available at carsoncity.gov/LAP. The survey is now open and will remain open through May 22nd, 2026.
Great.
Yes. All right. And we're keeping an eye on that time. We've got a minute left. We can do this one. Yes.
Yay.
We want to do this one. This is the High Desert Iris Society. They're having an Iris Society approved Iris show in Reno. It's free. It's this weekend, and it is open to the public. If you wish to enter your blooms, bring them on May 15th to the Silver Legacy Hotel and Casino in the Silver Baron Room 2 and 3. Entries can be prepped beginning at 2:30 and accepted into the show space between 3:30 and 5 p.m. The show will be judged by the American Iris Society accredited judges beginning at 5:30 p.m. Display vases will be provided. No cost to enter. So for more information about entering that show, you want to email highdesertirissociety@gmail.com.
Oh, wow, that's a lot.
That is a lot, yes. All right, so we're keeping an eye on the time. We've got just 7 seconds to go. So I want to conclude by thanking Kelsey for being here. I thought that was fascinating to hear about Hollow Mountain. Any last words from you, CJ?
No, I just want to say thank you again, Laura, for doing such a wonderful job as our engineer and co-producer and co-host. And she's wearing a lot of hats now. So I just wanted to say thank you. And again, Kelsey, thank you for joining us. And it's time for us to say bye-bye. So
Yeah,
say
thank you.
bye-bye.
Bye-bye.